Past few years have seen a significantly accelerated transformation in HR and what's expected of HR. There's a dramatic shift from delivering transactional excellence to becoming architects of change, be it digital transformation or taking the lead in managing the unforeseen pandemic. There is also a clear acknowledgement of uniqueness and diversity of workforce, and therefore a shift in thinking towards catering to their unique needs and expectations. There's a stronger appreciation of talent and culture being differentiators for organizations in terms of fostering innovation and driving success. This has led to a change in the way organizations approach talent, and over the past few years, the expectations from HR have also seen a shift. It's shifting to being architects and adopters of one, creating consumer grade experiences, second, leveraging data and technology, and third, most important, building human and connected workplaces. Let me talk a little bit about all three of these points. One, creating consumer grade experiences. With most businesses creating experiences which delight customers and offering services which are easy to use, the expectations of people are also changing. There's a similar expectation at workplace driven by what people experience as users of products and services they purchase. Example, online shopping or access to media, video streaming services, grocery shopping, and this list continues. Leveraging technology and data. An influx of young professionals joining the workforce who have grown up using the internet, mobile devices, social media, and other modern technologies, it greatly affects the way businesses operate. This generation of digital natives, they expect their workplace to adopt the latest and greatest in technology, and businesses that do not encourage modernizing the workplace will inevitably fall behind. Almost 50% of workforce today, they consider themselves to be digital natives, and that number will increase to 75% by 2025. Workplaces certainly need to adapt. On building human and connected workplaces, today's workforce seeks a corporate culture that promotes transparency and flexibility. There is also an expectation of workplace being a place where they can truly be who they are and that fosters ideas and creativities. Now let me talk about what does this mean for Myntra and how has our journey been over the past 2 to 3 years. Our focus has certainly been to create consumer grade experiences for our employees, create moments that truly matter, which are high touch and also technology enabled, and at the same time investing in a culture that fosters ideas, openness, and it provides that space for a diverse workforce to feel valued and included. The three principles on which we built our strategy and the transformation has taken place is number one, simplification. Number two, on building experiences and creating those moments that truly matters. And number three, which has been a strong pillar for us, which is our leadership and culture. Let me talk about simplification first. This has been a key driver for us in terms of how do we simplify our processes, ranging from basic things like payroll to also provide single channel of employees for the query resolution. We launched Yoda last year, which is a ticketing system for all our transactional queries related to HR or whether it is with facilities functions for quick solution to employees' queries. They can reach out to Yoda for anything from queries on salary and investments to reimbursement and benefits. In the past year itself, we had about 5,000 queries answered, and about 55% of these were resolved in less than 60 minutes. And now we also have a dedicated tab for COVID related queries as well. This has helped in many ways. I think one very simple, clean channel for employees where they can reach out, they can ask and get answers to their transactional queries in a very minimal time frame. This has also helped the HR function. This has helped HR partners invest more time in building and designing experiences and also having conversations which do need a personal touch. And at the same time, we've been able to provide a seamless and fast experience to our employees. Number two, the second tenet for us is on building experiences. And let me take a few examples here. For us, one of the key things has been listening at various milestones and then adapting our processes from what we learn. Measuring experiences is the first step for creating good experiences, I believe. We have leveraged various tools and used technology for this as well, whether it's Amber or Qualtrics. Amber is basically, it's an AI-based chat platform which generates tenure-based chats at 3 months, 6 months, etc. Different milestones, asking employees about their mood, feedback, and various life cycle aspects and other concerns. And any of these chats, AI technology, it helps us filter out the chats where there are concerns, and then it provides an opportunity for HR business partners to go back and have that conversation with that employee to understand and resolve for their concern. Thus, helping us filter out what are those things which need to be addressed. And second step of that, providing that personal touch wherein somebody is able to reach out to the employee and have that conversation. To expand the scope of listening as an organization, we also started using Qualtrics this year. We started with having a biannual pulse check on various areas, a very comprehensive and deep survey around manager effectiveness, culture, engagement, leadership, to name a few aspects. And not only a biannual survey on these aspects, but we've also designed measurement around specific experiences such as NPS scores for all our learning interventions, our hiring process, our onboarding process, which is helping us continuously make these processes better. Qualtrics has also helped us with taking an event-based approach. For example, we ran remote pulse surveys during COVID. We've done this thrice since March, and we've taken actions based on survey. In terms of the experiences that we've designed, let me take the example of learning, onboarding, and wellness. On learning, what we are trying to create is a culture of self-owned learning where an employee feels that they're responsible for their own learning and they have all the resources at their disposal. They have a manager who enables, and they have a culture who enables them to learn. So we've made a constant effort to strengthen our resources and support that is available to our employees. We've moved towards self-driven online learning. We leverage digital learning resources such as Udemy, EBSCO, Business of Fashion, O'Reilly, which can be used anytime, and employees can do this at their own pace. We've also experimented with formats such as Online Learning League, which is essentially a game-based learning format where employees can go acquire practical skills, negotiation, conflict resolution, leadership, and team management while interacting virtually with characters in the game. We've also tried virtual instructor-led board games for developing skills, and we found a good uptake of these new formats which involve gamification. On onboarding, what we have done is we've tried to give new hires a preview of us as an organization. We started an AR-based module in Office. This was basically different points where the employee could take their phone, they could scan, and it would give them some knowledge or some history about Myntra as they were scanning it in their app. And through this differentiated, tech-enabled and self-paced experience, the new joiners could get a glimpse of Myntra culture, business teams, and multiple milestones in our journey through the years. And now we have converted this to a virtual module, given all our onboarding also happens virtually these days. On wellness, the approach that we have taken is a holistic one: physical, mental, and even financial wellness. We have an integrated program, Thrive, which is built on all of these pillars to provide a comprehensive experience to our employees. We've partnered with MFine to provide access to telemedicine to our employees and families. This is applicable for home consultations as well, so they can access medical care from the comfort of their homes. We have extended employee assistance program, which is basically offers one-on-one counseling to even families of our employees, and in these times, mental wellness being more important than ever. We have approached wellness for a diverse workforce, and how do we create that experience? Example, as a part of our Motherhood and Beyond program for expecting mothers, we provide daily fruit hamper to all our expecting mothers. We've also made counseling accessible to not only the parent, but coaching for the manager too, as a large part of the experience is determined by the manager in terms of the way they interact and they enable the employee who's an expecting parent. Coming to leadership and culture, we focus immensely on communication, and more importantly, communication that is honest. And this starts from our leaders. We are open in accepting things we don't know, sharing what we think can be done differently, and collaborating with each other towards a shared vision. We rely on our values to help us establish this culture at Myntra. We strive to be consumer first in everything we do, with a very deep focus on bias for action, working together as teams with fairness and transparency in everything. And while HR is the custodian of these experiences, leadership and managers on the ground play an important role in delivering them. Their actions, behaviors ultimately define the culture of the organization. While communicating, setting the right expectations is important with our leaders, but it is also important to have accountability in place. As I mentioned earlier, we started MyPulse this year, which is a comprehensive feedback across various dimensions from employees. We've also started including this in the goals of all people leaders to further strengthen the accountability on people engagement and culture metrics. And being able to measure these dimensions, being able to get that employee feedback has been really helpful for us to set in these accountability mechanisms and set very clear expectations and goals for all our people leaders. As I look back over the past couple of years, I think our key learnings has been one, experience mindset has to be across everything we do. Our strategy today revolves around measuring and creating those moments that really matter for a diverse workforce, right from the time they find us or they come across us, even before we hire them, to how they experience our processes, our culture, and the entire time frame that they are with us. Second, culture and leadership plays a very significant role. Having leaders aligned with the central thought process and tenets and values, it certainly helps translate these experiences on the ground. It certainly helps impact the overall culture. And ultimately, digital transformation is not about technology. It is about people and mindset, and that is really the core to it. And that's really the most important part of this experience and this exercise. Number three, I think while traditionally HR has been about designing experiences which are thoughtful, the moments which really matter, in today's context, it's also experiences in the moment which matter. Let me take an example. A couple of months back, when we started, when COVID started and we were in a lockdown, we had one of our employees approach us with, their child being sick, and they were scared to go to the hospital for their own safety and for the child's safety as well. And what we at that time did was we managed to get a doctor to visit them at home, consult the child, and even get access to medicines without the employee having to step out. And that's when we learned that this is the moment which really mattered to that employee in that situation, right? And sometimes it's about those experiences as well which can create that moment which really matters. We later scaled this experience to all our employees, but the lesson learned for us was that it's not thoughtfully designed experiences always, but it is also experiences in the moment which matter. Let me talk about the role that Qualtrics has played in our journey. I think the biggest thing that we've got from Qualtrics is that it has helped us listen to experiences and quickly and constantly adapt on actioning the feedback, and Qualtrics has helped us enable that. Our metrics such as employee engagement, leadership trust, they define the overall experience of our employees, and the biannual employee feedback that we do through Qualtrics has been really helpful. We've also been able to measure specific experiences such as new hire experience, recruitment experience with hiring managers, onboarding experiences, exit experiences. And as I mentioned earlier, measuring an experience is really the first step to be able to design, get that feedback, and make it continuously better. During COVID, we also started a remote working pulse once in 2 months with targeted questions on what's working, what's not working for us. And I think the biggest thing for us has been able to get this insight and adapt quickly. For example, in one of these pulse surveys, we heard that work-life boundaries are blurring. We were able to quickly introduce work norms where we defined the core meetings timings so that people could plan accordingly. So now we don't start meetings before 10 a.m. and we close the business day by 7 p.m. with the lunch break in between. We also started a no meeting Wednesday, realizing that people do need that time where they can focus, they can do the work that involves ideation, deep thinking, and these pulses really helped us get that insight from the ground. We also heard about mental and emotional wellness becoming a challenge, and we were quickly able to launch online and self-paced meditation sessions for our employees. We even did webinars on sleep management. When we heard that our parents are having a tough time managing homework and kids, we organized an emotional wellness session for our parents as well. And I think Qualtrics has been a great partner in this journey in helping us create that platform to listen, whether it's at the point of an event such as COVID or an ongoing one such as our MyPulse survey, which we've been running biannually. And I think one of the biggest learnings over the past couple of months for us has been that the most important thing that we can do, especially in uncertain times, is listening to experiences, constantly and quickly adapting and actioning the feedback, which has really been helpful for us. Thank you.
Hi, it's a pleasure to speak in this summit. Thermax, as you know, I'll take a minute or a couple of minutes to introduce. We are into capital goods, operating in the space of energy and environment. We are a multi-divisional company which manufactures boilers. We are into EPC, we are into water treatment, we are into chemicals, and we are into EPC for power projects. We are also into air pollution control equipments. As you can imagine, a multi-divisional company, and to add to that, we operate with 2 ERPs. And therefore, when we started looking at HR strategy in terms of creating something which will align with business strategy, we were confounded with 2 or 3 issues and challenges. One was multi-divisional. Second, 2 ERPs. And at the same time, you wanted the effectiveness of a single HR ERP. Also, we were spread across in Europe and Southeast Asia. And how do we give a same experience to our internal customers and to our employees when they start using a HR suite? And that was an issue and challenge for us. Hence, we were on the lookout for something that will help us. And therefore, we had multi-modules that we had to work on, from succession planning, talent management, employee central, of course, recruitment, onboarding, offboarding, etc. The reason being, as the company was growing and the company was going global, we wanted something that will bind everybody together. And therefore we started working with SAP, because we found that if there was one system which can give the same experience to everybody, it can bring all the divisions together, managing 2 ERPs, which are our business ERPs. We found success factors to be fulfilling this requirement. We started, in fact, with cleaning up processes, and that's a learning for all of us. Even before we zeroed in on any HR suite, we cleaned up our processes. We brought in uniformity and consistency in our processes and policies. We said as to what is the flow that we need to bring in order to fulfill what we want to do it. And we started work 6 months before that. After that, once we were ready, we decided to start the work in this area. And we started working with SAP. First of all, one of the things that we did was, number one, we created champions for this across divisions. In a sense, it not to be seen as a HR initiative, but as a business initiative. Because right from beginning, we have been telling the businesses that it is meant for giving experience to employees, which they will like. Secondly, we did not want to show that we know all. So we took in business representatives from mid to senior level who were called into every, the Apex committee to review how we are progressing. And we transparently laid out before them a leader from business as to how we are progressing and what we are doing. Apart from that, as I said, in each business, along with the HR associates, we took in 1 or 2 young business representatives to tell us as to when they go hands-on, what would be their challenges, what would be their difficulties, so that we don't have to revisit once we do it. And actually that openness helped us, because they became ambassadors of this new initiative of implementing a HR suite in the businesses. When we launched it, some of the tactical things that you have to do is, you have to see that all business leaders, the heads of business, are there for the launch. And I influenced my managing director to put the keynote address, because this is not an easy thing. Because what Thermax had grown up with was a home-created HR suite with the help of an external software company. To change over, it was a big change management we knew. And therefore, right from step 1, we wanted the things to things to be in place so that the ownership and the commitment of people for this change is there. So when we launched it, we had actually business representatives in the group. Apart from HR, of course, HR was going to drive it. Secondly, we had each of the business leaders attending our Apex review meeting in terms of our what we called a steering committee as to how is it going. And therefore, they gave in suggestions. One of the things that in my address when we launched it was, I said that we don't want any customization. Because the moment you start customizing, according to me, and I speak out of my previous experience, it brings in a variability and you lose the richness and the pristine part of any software which is meant for it. Because one should recognize that be it SAP, SuccessFactors or anybody, they come with a huge experience of many organizations, and the suit that is made is actually a crystallization of wisdom which they have picked up on the way working with various companies. So therefore, it is better for us to change rather than suit the ERP to our way of working. And therefore, we made a strict rule right from beginning that we will not do any customization. And I told all the business leaders that maybe there is a process change that you will have to embrace. For instance, one of the things that was external to HR, where business people were also going to be involved, was in recruitment and selection. So I told them the method in which we have been working with our internal HR grown system, and this is going to be different. And therefore, bear with us. And as much as you took the HR homegrown system and embraced it, it's a matter of time that you will start looking at this too as something that is a part of our daily routine. And therefore, this expectation setting was done right from the beginning. Secondly, for various modules, we created HR team, and it was not on the basis of a division. We wanted to bring really the HR representatives from each of the division to work on a module. So we saw as to who would be good in employee central, who would be good in performance management, who would be good in say JAM, who would be good in offboarding and onboarding. So depending upon if somebody was really who had the capability to understand talent, we took them in the succession planning and talent management process. If somebody was operationally efficient, we took them in onboarding and offboarding process. If somebody was good in employee count, HR processes, we took them in HR Central. If somebody understood assessments, we took them in performance management module. And therefore, each of these modules were prepared and were led by a group HR head along with these HR representatives from different divisions. At the end of the first iteration, we presented it to the entire HR folk and also to the users in terms of the businesses, and told them to give suggestions with a caveat that the SAP system will not be changed, but tell us where you could encounter a difficulty or where you could encounter a challenge. Based on that, we tweaked a bit, but no customization was done. Will customization not be done completely? Not at all. We may require customization, but not to start. Because as we have started implementing it, we are realizing that some of the things we'll have to make it, but I will allow 1 year to go by and do it. The reason is we don't want to dilute the process and create something which is hybrid between SAP and Thermax. And tomorrow, when SAP comes with a new patch, I know for certain that it can't be implemented in as is condition if you have customized. And therefore, I'm safeguarding revenue of Thermax for the future and also creating a seamless system which will give a pristine experience to our internal customers. So if I have to summarize, one, let it not be looked as a HR process, let it be looked as a business process. Number two, don't keep it to be done by HR. Bring in business representatives whom we call them as champs. And the champs were a part of creating all the modules and working on the modules. Number three, the steering committee consisted of representatives who are business leaders. So when we were reviewing, they came into the process and told us, here is where perhaps you may have to relook. Here is a change that you need to bring in. This is not how our business works. If it was possible to fit within the SAP system, we did it. Otherwise, we had to say a polite no, because the golden rule was no customization to start with. Last rule, as I said, at the cost of repetition, no customization. Having done that, then came the change management process, because once we were ready with all the modules, we created actually a change management team led by a young HR business representative. And she, through her creativity, did something in the nature of awareness campaign, which told people that something new is going to happen and be ready for it. And one by one, as the modules were getting implemented, the change champions, the change agents actually did a awareness program through campaigns by which as to how people need to operate and navigate. At the end of these mock launches, we asked people how has been their experience. People told us that some of the language which we are using is not understood by people. So then we ran a glossary of changes. What it meant was, earlier you take the goal plan or the goal module. We used to call them individual contribution plan or a KRA. Now it was to be called a goal. And therefore, we wanted everything to be changed. People had to start using the speak of SAP, goal plan, goal, continuous performance management. And what we brought as a part of change management was as to what are the new things which are going to help the employees. And by way of illustration, we told managers that the performance management system has something which is called continuous performance management. That means actually you can journal an incident which is a developmental need of an employee or something which he or she has done great. You can record it in the continuous management process sub-module of the main module. Now, these are the things by which people started getting hooked on to the system. Happy to tell you, even with COVID and 70% of the company working from home, our entire performance appraisal, we did it remotely. All the appraisal discussions happened remotely. Ratings, feedback sessions happened remotely. Initially, there was a pressure on me to tell that, look, at least for feedback sessions, allow us to come to office. But the conditions in which we were operating, I was against people coming to office in these precarious conditions. Therefore, we pressed on it and actually people used it. If there was something to be tried in terms of most difficult circumstances for a new ERP to be implemented in HR, it could not have been a best or worse situation than what we are going through currently. So entire performance management process for the entire company with 99% people participating was done online remotely. I think that showed the robustness of the system, and I attribute it not to HR alone, but also to our businesses, because our ability to rope them in while we implemented the process by calling them, champions of this new process helped us. Because everywhere then HR did not have to go. Each of the representatives in their business told their business leaders, this is how it has to be done. And actually they became our ambassadors in this change management process. Second, our learning and development, we have done more than 300 programs, what we call as virtual instruction-led training. More than 3,500 employees have participated both in product and behavioral training. And therefore, this entire process, or entire onboarding has happened. Entire onboarding has happened online. Entire offboarding is happening online. And therefore, there could not have been more trying moments than what we are going through currently, where all the decision makers are working remotely and they have used the system, and it has stood sheer out of its robustness and conviction of people that this is a new thing that we have to embrace. But the new thing did not come out of just by HR saying it. But if you ask me, the success is because ability of HR to bring in business as real partners in implementation of this. We're extremely happy with the robustness. We are extremely happy with the modules. Yes, are there issues? There are issues. Are there challenges? There are challenges. But we will work with SAP to make those changes towards creating a system which is much more acceptable than what it is today. But we are sure with their handholding, their experience, and their belief in partnership, we will be able to take it to newer heights than what we are today. But if you ask me, as of now, as an HR leader of this company, multi-division, 2 business ERPs, but SAP tying everything together, I'm extremely happy with what we have done. And that's what I want to put across to all of you. Thank you very much.